Spurs fans, the people of San Antonio, we have ourselves a delight tonight. We've got our generational talent, Victor Wembanyama, facing off against the Bucks, Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, in a matchup where Wemby gets to show again why he is amongst the league's very best. And a massive game for the standings. This is a huge opportunity to move up and put ourselves in prime position after falling the last couple games. And we're going to break down how that is going to happen here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. We appreciate all of you guys here at Digest Media, but if you haven't yet, the viewers who haven't yet, take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment moving forward by hitting that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get underway. We don't get to see this matchup often. We get to see this matchup twice a year unless they see each other in the NBA Finals, which obviously hasn't happened yet. So we don't get this, and we only got it once last year, and we came down to the big Wemby block towards the end of the game. Obviously, he had the off-the-glass dunk, which you just saw in the intro. A lot of moments came from this. You have Giannis, for the first time in his entire career, someone who can really match him length, quickness, athleticism-wise. Obviously, Wemby doesn't have Giannis's strength, but he does have the unique physical prowess that only Giannis seems to have, or like the one-of-ones, like LeBron has his uniqueness, Zion has his uniqueness. He's on that level, and it was a treat to see last year, and it's going to be a treat to see this year. I cannot wait for this game. Victor Wembanyama, we understand that you are the focal point in the center of the San Antonio Spurs, and thankfully you are. You are an amazing talent. This year you have been doing amazing things. 25, close to 26 a game, 11 rebounds a game, 4 assists, 4 blocks, a steal, shooting 48% from the floor, 35 from 3. For us to win tonight, he has to get to 25. Victor Wembanyama, when he scores 25 or more, the San Antonio Spurs are 13-4. When he scores under 25, we're 3-11. 3-11. We do not do well when we don't score a bunch, and that's coming from Victor Wembanyama. As you see here, the minutes totals, top to bottom, you've got Wemby's the only person playing over 30 minutes. We have great depth on our team, but we don't have a second option who has really asserted himself. Devin Vassell, since coming back from the injury, has not been able to be that. Chris Paul at this point is only a point guard. He is not that guy who is going to get you 20 points a game. Jeremy Sochan's not a scorer. He does everything else fine. He is a very good defender. Unfortunately, we're going to be out without him, and we're going to highlight that here in just a moment. But he is a very good defender. He can get downhill. He can shoot a 3 every now and again to try to keep the defense honest. Harrison Barnes is a perfect role player. Julian Champagnie is a perfect shooter. Keldon Johnson is a good piece off the bench for scoring. And Stephon Castle is still learning his way in the NBA, and he is not that level of scorer. He is that level of athlete, level of defender, but he is not that level of scorer. So when it comes down to winning games for the San Antonio Spurs this season, it has to come on the shoulders of Victor Wembanyama. Again, they are 13-4 when he scores 25 points or more, and they are only 3-11 when he does not. And that is what this indicates here. As you see, it is just his 50 game, his 42 game. Unfortunately, the one on Christmas when he had 42 and 18. But you just see all of the W's, and these aren't just against bad teams, like, oh, okay, it's against okay teams, whatever. You see wins against Denver. You see a win against Sacramento, even though Sacramento has been a little bit underwhelming, they still have good talent. You see a win against Golden State. You see a win against the Clippers, who've been playing very good basketball this season. You see a win against Houston there. And then even in the losses, it's a loss by 2 to Minnesota. That was a heartbreaker that just happened. It was a loss to 3 on Christmas Day to the Knicks. That was a tough one. It was a loss by 5 right before Christmas to the 76ers. That was when Maxey at the end of the game. You see a lot of these games are against big opponents. And then obviously, you have all of the losses here. You even see it against teams like Utah, Chicago. We beat Brooklyn, but it's just not... It's up and down. When he's just not scoring, we're just not winning. And it's because of how talented he is, and we have a lack of a second scorer, which is in every game, we need him at 25 and one other guy to come along. Just one other guy. Obviously, we need people. Julian Chimpenny needs to do exactly what he kind of does with his couple threes. We need Harrison Barnes to contribute. We obviously need players to put up their averages, but we need one other guy to get 20 plus. And if we can do that plus Wemby and then play defense at the level that I know we're capable of, and we've seen it all year, that's how this team gets wins, and that is the recipe for success tonight. Because that guy right there, 2 indicators, the 2 lines of demarcation for the Milwaukee Bucks on this season has been him shooting at 60% or higher, or 60% or less during each game, and if he decides to dish out the ball at a high level, especially for a big. Because when Giannis Antetokounmpo averages more or gets more than 7 assists in a game, 7 or more, they're 9-4. When he gets 6 or less, they're 6-9. They're an under 500 team when he is not dishing out the ball. They're 3-3 this year when he's not playing. They're a 500 team, but that's not really much. Even more key, when he shoots under 60% from the floor, they're 4-9 this season. They are not good. When he shoots over 60% from the floor, they are 11-4. That's also where it comes down to that guy to his right in the picture, our left, which is Victor Wembanyama. He needs to be a presence in the paint. He needs to make things difficult on Giannis. Giannis has quit taking threes, so we don't need to worry about him out there. We can dare him to take them. If he makes 3 threes and that's how they win, cool. Obviously, we make things tougher on Dame. We make things tougher on everybody else. What we do is we force Giannis to have to go downhill and try to beat us himself. Don't allow the other 3-point shooters to get involved, because the 7 assists, that's where they can start moving the ball, getting in fast breaks, transitions. When that ball's moving, they're shooting. They're a tough team to beat, of course. But you force him one-on-one with Wemby, and you make him take tough shots 8 feet and out. It is obviously easier said than done, but we have the team capable of doing so. Zach Collins is going to need to play a role tonight. Charles Bassey is going to need to play minutes tonight, and he is going to need to give Giannis a tough time. I would like to see a couple, maybe 3 to 5 minutes worth of Wemby and Bassey on the floor. Get Wemby to guard him on the perimeter, and even if he gets a step, you still have a very athletic guy in the back who is just all there for hustle. I would love to see that twin tower lineup, especially because you're going to see Giannis and Brook Lopez. This would be never a better time to do such a thing than tonight against Giannis Antetokounmpo, because we are missing Jeremy Sochan, and those about 28 to 30 minutes a game are going to need to be replaced by someone. I think you're going to see more Vassell. I think you might see a couple more minutes from Vassell. You'll see more Castle, especially because I understand he's a guard, but you're going to see a little bit more Castle off the bench, maybe even starting in his position. You'll see how they want to go about it. Sometimes they like to do that, but with the Bucks being a bigger team, I honestly wouldn't mind starting Bassey and Wemby tonight. I really wouldn't. You can put Bassey even on Giannis. He can slide enough with him, and especially because you don't have to give him. You can give him the 3. Brook Lopez, he can shoot it. You get Wemby out there to get a hand up on Brook Lopez, but also he's so long, rangy, and athletic that he can get there to block at the basket and actually give help to Giannis Antetokounmpo driving to the paint and give help for Charles Bassey. But that is going to be the interesting thing, and I know Giannis is on the injury report here. Chris Middleton might miss, and I know Giannis is on that injury report, but as of 17 hours ago, it says he is probable for Wednesday's game, so we are operating under the fact that Giannis is going to be playing against the San Antonio Spurs tonight. And speaking of Giannis, he has been a man amongst boys this season. It's 32, 12, and 6. You've got two of the top 5 MVP candidates this year playing in this game, and it's going to be special. We've got the Greek Freak versus the Alien tonight, and what else could we ask for? What else could we ask for? And when it comes down to it, every game is going to continue to matter because one more game is just getting closer to that playoff push. We're close to February, the All-Star break, and everyone knows after the All-Star break or when things pick up, no one wants to wake up at the All-Star break. You need to be prepared for the All-Star break and moving forward. Obviously, we're getting in a bunch of close games. Close games to the Bulls, close games to the 76ers, the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the list goes on and on, the Nuggets. These are all just within the last few weeks. All these close games, some that we're winning, some that we're losing, and it's just building character, but we're still right there. We are just 2.5 games out from being the 4 seed against the Denver Nuggets team that we beat, and then they took us to overtime and beat us. Against a Dallas Mavericks team who still is not going to have Luka Doncic back for another at least 3 weeks, and they're starting to reel, even though they got a big win last night without Kyrie and without Luka against the Los Angeles Lakers. A Los Angeles Lakers team that's inconsistent. A Clippers team that can be inconsistent, especially if they don't have Harden in there. A Timberwolves team who still haven't figured out entirely the Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards dichotomy and how to actually win and stretch games, multiple games in a row with them. Obviously, last year we saw how good they were with Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns has been amazing in New York this season. But we're seeing the Timberwolves not being able to catch their full footing. And then obviously the Warriors, who are right behind us, they haven't been able to catch their footing. They'll beat a team, and then they'll lose to a team by 20. They'll lose to the Heat by 20 without Jimmy Butler, who have only been really good in the news because of the fact that they're not even good in the news, but in the news because Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley are having whatever match that they're having. But that Warriors team is Steph Curry, and then no one else right now is coming along. He has 31, and they lose by 20. But you've got all those teams around you. Every team has a flaw. Those top 3 teams right now, OKC, they're running away with it. They're the 1 seed. Just let them be the 1 seed. That's fine. The Rockets and the Grizzlies are 2 teams the Rockets are that one of those young teams we see it every year. Last year it was the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have been to the playoffs a couple times before, but we saw the Timberwolves and the Thunder. 2 younger teams who really haven't been in the playoffs in the limelight like that. They actually get into rotation. They're not a team that's going to be finals contenders, but they're a team that's going to be good. They're like the Kings a few years back when they lost to the Warriors in 7. But they're that kind of team. The Grizzlies are getting back to being what the Grizzlies are, which is a very good, formidable opponent. They obviously have a superstar in Ja when he is playing. They've got a great guy in Jaren Jackson Jr. But otherwise, every team has flaws in the Western Conference, and we have a chance to do something that we didn't think was going to happen prior to the season starting, and that is be a top 6 seed and actually be able to get to the second round of the playoffs. I know some people thought it, some people didn't think it. I thought they're going to be more of the play-in route. They have an absolute chance to get to the playoff route and just go about it. Honestly, realistically, we're a few games out, and it's not out of the realm of possibility to have a home playoff series. The 4 seed's not crazily out of the realm of possibility for this roster because we have such a great supernova. We just need that one other guy to come along and join the party, and that needs to be Devin Vassell, or Stephon Castle needs to take that offensive leap that we need. But for tonight's game, going to Milwaukee, we need the superstar to continue to do superstar things. Over the last few games, he's averaging over 28 points a game. And we need him to continue to do that. When we're 25 and more for him, we are 13-4 when he's 25 or more. And we're going to need at least 25 tonight, and we're going to need you to play great against Giannis to try to force him under 60% shooting. You do that, that's your best chance to win. They're 4-9 when he's under 60. We're 13-4 when Victor scores over 25. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this game tonight, Milwaukee versus San Antonio. How do you think it's going to go? Do you think the Spurs can go and get a big win against Giannis and the Bucks, or do you think that they're going to fall again, possibly late game? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This has been Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will be seeing all of you guys very soon.